welcome back to the
KeysKidsChannel. And I'm Miss Keys.
We are back for a brand new episode, but not only a brand new episode, it's a brand new month, y'all. It is finally October. And this series, we are going to be doing a holiday series. The next 3 months are back-to-back holidays, so I thought, why not? So for the month of October, throughout this whole series, we are going to be celebrating Halloween. We are going to be reading different Halloween books, and typically when we have a new series, I give you a lesson focus. But for this holiday series, I want to just focus in on enjoying a book. I want you guys to start enjoying the process of reading, loving to read. So instead of having something to think about or having a strict thinking job, which is always good to do, I want you guys to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the book. And at the end, we'll just talk about our favorite parts. I'm so excited. Something about Halloween just is a little spooky. So I am so excited to read. I had to start our Halloween series with a classic, and I do mean a classic. Today on the Keys Kids channel, for our first episode in the Halloween series, we will be reading It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown by Charles M. Schulz. Charles M. Schulz is the amazing animator and writer over the Peanuts. I am so excited. This is a classic. I have to watch Charlie Brown for every holiday. I usually watch the movies. I read the books to my school kids, so I had to read it to you guys because you guys are my kids too. I am so excited. Not only is it Halloween, we're reading the Peanuts book. It's an awesome episode. So I'm done running my mouth, because it's time. It's time to read the book. So I need you guys to put on your reading hat and let's go. Peanuts. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown by Charles M. Schulz. Every fall, the leaves on the trees turn brown and fall off the branches. Pumpkins grow big and plump in their patches. The air grows cooler and people start to think about their Halloween costumes. And every fall, Linus writes a very important letter. Dear Great Pumpkin, Linus writes, I'm looking forward to your arrival on Halloween night. I hope you will bring me lots of presents. Who are you talking to? Asked Charlie Brown. A great pumpkin, Linus replies. On Halloween night, the great pumpkin rises out of his pumpkin patch and flies through the air with his bag of toys for all the children. Linus's sister, Lucy, isn't happy that Linus is writing to the Great Pumpkin. You make me the laughingstock of the neighborhood, she complains. But Charlie Brown's sister, Sally, doesn't think Linus is crazy. She thinks Linus is wonderful. He is her sweet babu. Wouldn't you like to sit with me in the pumpkin patch on Halloween night and wait for the Great Pumpkin? Linus asks. Sally is thrilled. I'd love to, she tells Linus. Later that day, Charlie Brown has a surprise waiting for him in the mailbox. "I got an invitation to a Halloween party!" he exclaims. Lucy thinks the invitation must be a mistake. "There were 2 lists," she tells Charlie Brown. "One to invite and one not to invite." Charlie Brown knows which list he was probably on, but he decides to go to the party anyway. On Halloween night, everyone is planning to go to the party, except Linus. "My blockhead brother will be out in the pumpkin patch making his yearly fool of himself," Lucy grumbles. She can't understand why Linus would choose to miss out on all the fun that Halloween has to offer by sitting around in a pumpkin patch. Everyone puts on their costumes. Lucy is dressed as a witch. Charlie Brown is dressed as a ghost, but no one can tell what he is supposed to be because he has some trouble with the scissors. Sally is also dressed as a ghost, and so is Schroeder. They figured out how to use the scissors just fine. Pigpen is dressed as a ghost too. Everyone can tell which ghost he is because he has a cloud of dust surrounding him. Snoopy walks by, also dressed in costume. "Who in the world is that?" asks Lucy. "He's a World War I flying ace," Charlie Brown explains. "Now I've seen everything," Lucy says. Lucy declares that everyone will go trick-or-treating first and then go to the Halloween party. As they pass by the pumpkin patch, Linus sees them and gets excited, thinking they have come to wait with him. "Have you come to sing pumpkin carols with me?" he asks. "You blockhead!" Lucy yells at her brother. "You're going to miss all the fun just like last year." "Don't talk to me like that," Linus cries. "The great pumpkin will come because I am in the most sincere pumpkin patch." "Oh, good grief," Lucy exclaims. She marches off with her friends. It looks like no one wants to join Linus in the pumpkin patch to wait for the great pumpkin. Except, what about Sally? Sally is torn. She doesn't want to miss out on all the fun of trick-or-treating and a party. But Linus is her sweet baboo. What should she do? Sally runs back to the pumpkin patch. "I'm glad you came back," Linus tells her. "You'll see the great pumpkin with your own eyes." Linus is positive the great pumpkin will pick this patch. Why wouldn't he? The great pumpkin chooses the most sincere patch to visit every year. And how could a pumpkin patch be more sincere than this one? Sally hopes Linus is right. Meanwhile, the rest of the kids go trick-or-treating. "Trick or treat, money or eats," they yell at the first door. Everyone compares what they got. "I've got 5 pieces of candy," brags Lucy. "I got a chocolate bar," exclaims Patty. "I got a quarter," says Violet happily. "I got a rock," says Charlie Brown sadly. And that happens at every door. All the other kids get wonderful treats like candy, gum, and popcorn balls. And Charlie Brown gets rocks. Lucy decides they have done enough trick-or-treating and it is time to go to the party. After all, everyone has a bag filled to the brim with treats. Everyone except Charlie Brown. He has a bag full of rocks. On their way to the party, they pass by the pumpkin patch again. The kids laugh at Linus and Sally for waiting there instead of coming to the party. "The great pumpkin will be here," Sally yells, defending Linus. After the kids walk by, Sally turns to Linus. "All right, where is he?" she asks. "He'll be here," Linus assures her. "I hope so," Sally replies, "Think of all the fun we're missing." And the Halloween party is a lot of fun for everyone except Charlie Brown. At first, Charlie Brown thinks his night is looking up when the other kids ask him to be a model for the jack-o'-lantern. That sounds like a great honor. But then he realized that being the model means having Violet draw a big pumpkin face on the back of his head. Meanwhile, in the pumpkin patch, Sally is growing tired of waiting for the great pumpkin. "If anyone had told me I'd be waiting in a pumpkin patch on Halloween night, I'd have said they were crazy," she complains. Just then, she and Linus hear a rumbling noise. They see a shadow emerging from the pumpkin patch. "It's the great pumpkin rising up out of the pumpkin patch!" Linus yells. He is so excited to see the great pumpkin that he faints. But it isn't the great pumpkin after all. It is just the World War I flying ace on his way back from a very important mission. Linus wakes up and asks Sally what happened. "I was robbed!" howls Sally. "Halloween is over and I missed it!" She stumps out of the pumpkin patch, leaving Linus all alone to wait for the great pumpkin. Linus falls asleep waiting, and later that night, Lucy comes to bring him home and tuck him into his warm bed. The next day, Charlie Brown tries to make Linus feel better. "Don't take it too hard that the great pumpkin never showed up," he tells his friend. But Linus doesn't feel let down. "Just wait till next year," he tells Charlie Brown. "I'll find the most sincere pumpkin patch and I'll sit in that pumpkin patch until the great pumpkin appears." The end. That was so cute. I love it. It's one of my favorites. It's good every single time. Now again, since we didn't have a thinking job, I want you guys to just think of what was your favorite part. Was it when they were all dressed up as ghosts except Charlie Brown was a ghost with too many holes? Or maybe it was when Snoopy was actually in the pumpkin patch just chilling. Like, "Snoopy, what you doing?" Or maybe it was at the end when Linus still didn't care and he gonna find that pumpkin patch that got the great pumpkin in it. Well, my favorite part was when Linus passed out. I was like, "Oh Lord, Linus, you gonna miss the great pumpkin." I loved it. It was such a fun book. I think it's very important for everyone to have books that they just love to read. Books that make them happy. Books that lets them go other places in their imagination. Because that's what reading is all about. Reading is expanding your imagination, seeing the world in a different light, exploring different people's minds, taking journey to faraway places. Reading is magical. So for this holiday series, I just want us to experience the magic of reading. Now remember, on Monday on the KeysKidsChannel Instagram, you can go there to see what our next book in our Halloween series is going to be. Is it going to be spooky? Is it going to be funny? We don't know. And then that Friday, you can come right back here to the KeysKidsChannel on YouTube. And here I am, maybe in another costume, reading to you. I can't wait to see you guys. Don't forget to go like and subscribe. Go tell people what your favorite part of this book was. Share it with everyone you know. And with all that said, I'll see you guys next week on the Kids Channel. See you next week.